right. Thank you for coming. Happy to have everyone participating, watching the recording, and please contact us if you need anything regarding Pilgrims Summer. We have all contact details noted on pilgrims.co.uk, so come and visit us and send an email, use the WhatsApp number, social media, everything is noted down. My name is Mathilde, and I'm in charge of the administrative organization of Pilgrims. I'm here to answer any questions you have, so contact me and I'll try to talk to the right person or give you an answer. I'm based in Paris, so might be a delay, but I'll get to it as soon as possible. I'm happy to introduce our Pilgrims students, Dexter, Stefania Ballotto, and Hania Kryszewska. They have been taking part in training for many years in Canterbury, in Galway, so many countries around the world for specialized courses, and they will, all three of them, be in Segovia this summer. In addition to training, he has been appointed Director of Studies, so he's going to bring all our trainers together and trying to get the best for this summer session. Phil?
Okay, let's begin. Yeah, I'd like to welcome everybody. I'm very pleased to see who's here. Mathilde, if you just move on to the next slide. Yeah. I imagine a lot of people here know of Pilgrims and have been to actually Pilgrims before, and you know the kind of creative approach that we take. But for anyone who might be looking at this for the first time, we'd just like to say a few things. I mean, I think one of the most important things about Pilgrims is that all our trainers really come from an international context. And probably most do not actually have English as their first language, but they're all absolutely at the top of the scale of English competence. But of course, what really matters is our approach, really. The approach to Pilgrims is a kind of standard bearer of what we call humanism, which means we really start from the needs of the individual and the learner. And we take very, very much kind of creative approaches to how we actually train and actually work together. We talk about the acronym LEAD, which actually means learn, experiment, and then you adapt for your own situation and context. And through that experience, we all develop. That's basically our approach. As I say, it's very much about the needs of people that we're working with, and we don't teach courses, we teach people, and that's an important element of what you mean by humanism. Do you want to add anything, Hania and Steffi?
Yes, definitely there is the element of multiculturalism as well, because thanks to all the trainers and trainees, we take a lot of pride in learning from our trainees as well, and therefore share the cultural side as well, and not only the language that we are teaching, which is English.
And talking of humanism, I would also add that we put the student at the center, making it as a pleasant experience as possible to learn a foreign language, to develop, to be in charge of own learning, which is very important for learner independence and autonomy throughout the whole education, lifelong education. Mm-hmm.
And also, as Hania was saying, and Phil as well, that our learners are the most important person for us. Therefore, we share a lot, and it is always an experience to be with people from all over the world, because it is definitely enriching, and not only, as I said before, improving one's English. This has been the experience that I've had over the years at Pilgrims with all the trainees. They have definitely enriched me as a trainer.
I would also add that the Pilgrim's Way, as it is mapped out, we start with a bit of introduction, or at some point we introduce some theory, and then we always make sure that the theory is illustrated with practical activities, or the other way around, where we start with practical activities and then we kind of arrive at the theory and discover the theory, and all that checks through very nicely and it sticks. It's very often some kind of loop input, so it's varied methodology, but there is no lecturing as such, no lecturing at Pilgrims, hands-on.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I'd just like to emphasize that as well, that I mean, it's really, really important that what we're doing is it absolutely meets up-to-date thinking in pedagogy and methodology, and in that sense we're very much evidence informed is what I would say. But you know, it is the moving from there to the practical application, which becomes very, very meaningful for the people that we work with. But I agree with you, Hania. You might start with theory or you might start with practice. It just depends what's actually appropriate in the context of the course, of a session as well. Yeah. I'd also just like to re-emphasize, I think this international nature of actually trainers who work for Pilgrims is so important, and it really offers that kind of understanding of how to work in different contexts as well. So it's not like you're coming and it's all. I mean, you know, a lot of I'm British and I come from the British perspective, and I think that's important as well. But I think it's the kind of global nature of our team, which is actually one of the real things that make it a Pilgrims difference as well. Yeah.
And what Steffi was saying, people, the course participants come from various countries, so we try to take on board different context and adjust the course so that it is suitable for every course participant, and we look at ways how the ideas presented in the course can be implemented in various countries and continents.
And there isn't one specific methodology, because we're quite eclectic and use all the methodologies that there are. And as Hania was saying, we put the theory into practice, or the practice, and then we can see the theory. Always, of course, bearing in mind our pedagogues and all our academic background that all of us have, and to suit the course that we have designed for our participants.
Yes. And I think what's really important is we know over the years of working in kind of summer courses and across the world, actually, you know, in other parts of the year, that it's the feedback we also get from people that we work with, that they apart from it, what was, you know, it's often a kind of magic experience as well, you know, that they really engage with. They leave with lots and lots and lots of practical ideas that they can immediately use, you know, in their schools and after the summer, or you know, when they're back in their classrooms. Yeah.
I think this is what we do during the courses as well, is together adapting materials, and as Hania was saying, adapting whatever we do to their a reality in their country, in their schools. And we work together to meet our participants' needs. So when they get back, they can easily adapt what we were doing, because this is part of the course as well. And the global knowledge, we work thinking about today's globalization, what we really need the English language for, how we can use it in our place of work, as teachers, as trainers, and what we are able to do in today's world. So it's always updated material, working with Agenda 2030, implementing CLIL, and all the needs that today's education is heading for.
Okay, so we just like, I mean, for those of you who have known Pilgrims in the past, they know that we worked at the University of Kent in Canterbury, and that's been a very important experience for 40 years and more. So we just like to show a few images from what courses look like. Yeah.
And I would like to say, when you look at the photographs, they were taken in Canterbury, but we carry this atmosphere with us wherever we go, when we deliver courses in various countries, when we go abroad. If you can't come to Pilgrims, Pilgrims will come to you. And this is the atmosphere that we create wherever we go. So it's not exclusive to Canterbury and University of Kent.
Okay, and here we have what is the offer for this year. We'll talk in a few minutes about Spain and actually Segovia. But I mean, this is the pedagogical methodological offer that we have, and we have and you might just like to look at this for a few minutes. There are 17 courses advertised here, which shows the extent of what we can offer. Yeah. Many of these have been run, if not most of them, have been run in Canterbury over the years as well.
Not only in Canterbury, but as you said, Phil and Hania, if you can't come to Pilgrims, Pilgrims will come to you. A lot of this work is also done during the year, if needed, by some institutes who would like this training, for example, CLIL, or teaching, training the trainer.
But we have also included new courses like mediation, teaching English for the future through the 5 frames. These are flip mastery. So if you compare our offer in the past, there are quite a few new additions, and very most welcome additions, because they reflect what the interests are. Also, we are planning to introduce courses on sustainability, education, English language teaching, EFL, and sustainability, combining the 2 areas. So we're developing new courses as well, which are in the pipeline.
Thanks, Hania. Yeah. And one thing that isn't mentioned here, of course, is that all these courses are 1-week courses, and that's part of the offer. I think the next click, Matilda, is the link to that's right. Yeah. So if I don't know if we want to actually do we want to actually go in now quickly, or just leave that for people to kind of do themselves?
Yes, Alessandro, you have a question?
Yeah, sorry, a very quick one. So I have been following your work for some time, and I would really love to join you at a certain point. I'm an English teacher too. I was just wondering why the courses have become 1 week long instead of 2 weeks. For example, the one that I was most interested in was the humanistic teacher, and I remember checking that on your page in the past few years the program was 2 weeks long with some activities, and so I was wondering if now everything is more squeezed in just in 1 week, or it's become a bit different, and so that's because of this is why it lasts 1 week and not two.
Um, what I'd say to that for this year, I think we're we've had some experiments in Ireland for a couple of years, for the reasons I'm sure you know, that we cannot be in the University of Kent in Canterbury because of Brexit and Erasmus funding. The idea is to have the broadest offer possible, and so it's to try and get the widest range possible within the summer period this year. I mean, just speaking myself, it doesn't mean that there won't ever be 2-week courses in the future. In the past, in the Canterbury, it's been mainly 2 weeks, but there's been 1-week courses as well. But that's what we're offering this year. I think depending on all sorts of factors in terms of interest and perhaps even feedback, we'll see what might happen in the future. But that's what we're offering this year. Yeah.
And Alessandro, there was another practical reason for that, is that when some people came on 2-week courses, but they had enough funding, Erasmus funding, for 1 week, and they would come for only the first week, which really ruined the dynamic of the group.
Absolutely.
And I think it makes more sense that you've got more time and money to spend to go on 2 courses, 1-week courses, and you can be sure that you are a group for the whole duration of the course, and there is no couple.
Yeah, that's very important. And just as Hania said, if you do have funding for 2 weeks, you can join their 2 courses.
Yes,
okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So, yes, we have shared our bio data in the catalogue, and where it says meet the trainers, it's not said, that one trainer is going to do the specific course. A lot depends on the number. Is that so, Phil, of trainees that we'll have on each course?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the rule is that we do not say who is going to deliver a given course. We have got our favorite trainers who usually look after a particular course, but it's on purpose that we do not give the names of the trainers on the next to the name of the course. However, when you go to the Pilgrims Teacher Training website, there is one page with the trainers' biodata, where you can find out who the trainers are, what they have published. There are links to sample articles they have published in the Teacher Trainer Journal, in Humanizing Language Teaching, or published in various books, or actually titles of books that trainers have written. So it's a very good way to introduce the trainers, and we recommend you take a look who the Pilgrims trainers crowd is, who the people are, and what a lovely group of trainers there is.
Yes, we're a very close team, and we actually call ourselves the Pilgrims family. We've been working together for many, many years, and it is like one big family team. We do a lot of collaborative work and support each other and collaborate together. So there is nobody that sort of says, this is my course, because we always get support, collaboration and cooperation, which are 2 very important words in today's world, to collaborate and to cooperate. There is no competition. Okay. Discover Pilgrims in Segovia. I had a wonderful, positive experience training in Segovia 2 years ago. And it was the first time that Pilgrims was training in Segovia. Not the very first time, but the very first time for me. And it was definitely a positive experience. There was an opportunity to speak English everywhere in Segovia, although it's Spain. But Segovia is a charming city, very close to Madrid. It's about a 35-minute journey from Central Madrid station to Segovia. And Segovia is surrounded by rolling hills and higher mountains as well, as we'll see, but it is so multicultural, with a lot of historical places to visit, with it's vibrant, it's full of life, great university in Segovia, and very cultural city as well. The trainees who were there for a week with me were absolutely thrilled and amazed by what Segovia was offering, besides the training center and the Pilgrims Residence. The training center and the Pilgrims Residence is in the city center, especially the training center is on one of the main streets in Segovia. So you just walk down the stairs from the city center and you get the hustle and bustle of this beautiful, charming Spanish city, which doesn't sound Spanish because you can hear lots of languages being spoken and a lot of English as well, because of the university and because it is an important touristic place in Spain. So definitely there wasn't a need to be in an English speaking country to be able to practice one's English, because these were trainees from the Netherlands, and whenever they had to buy anything, they had to speak in English, and they were answered in English as well. So here are some pictures showing the training. This is the residence.
TV.
Yes, and here is the school. It's 10 minutes away from the residence, and it really is a relaxing residence, and so is the school. Here is one of the classrooms in the school, lots of light, spacious, and modern, with up-to-date equipment, as you can see, and lots and lots to do in Segovia. I was struck by the beautiful Roman aqueduct that is still so well looked after. It was as if it had been built recently, the way this city looks after its monuments and all the buildings. And here is another bird's eye view of the city of Segovia. Okay, so the reason for going to Segovia is that it is our school. Is that right, Phil?
Yep, it's right. Yep, yep. So it's a permanent school that we have. I mean, as I said, we spent 45 years in Canterbury, and that was great experience. And the reality of the situation now is that most teachers do come on our courses through Erasmus Plus funding, and that's not possible to access in the UK now. It may happen again in the future, but not for now. I mean, I would say one of the great pluses of actually Segovia, apart from it being our own school, which of course we never owned in Canterbury, in terms of the summer training, it's another example of the internationalization of what Pilgrim stands for as well, and I think that's really, really important.
Yes, because as we know, today we live in a world of Englishes, and therefore it's so multicultural, and Segovia and the whole of Europe, really, we use English to communicate, but there isn't a specific English, and sometimes we think that can only happen in Canterbury, but it's not so. Linda, you have an experience in Segovia as well.
Yes, that's when I taught a group of Italian teachers. They were a closed group like yours. But one thing people should bear in mind now is that, like in Canterbury, courses will be multinational, multilingual. So the language to communicate with your classmates is English, not only in class but at the residence as well, because the groups are mixed in the summer. Steffi and I had closed groups. The closed groups are all the same nationality. That's not the case in the summer. So wherever you are, the groups are all mixed. So you'll be practicing your English. Plus, as Steffi said, Segovia it's actually a World Heritage Site, partly because of the fantastic Roman aqueduct, and also because it's full of Romanesque churches. I studied architecture, and I could guide people around if you want. So you can use your English in lots of different contexts, but definitely not just in the shops and in class. You will be using it in the residence and with all the other people from different parts of the world who will be on the courses. So that's something to make the most of. And Segovia is a fantastic city. It's about the size of Canterbury, which means you can walk everywhere and enjoy visiting beautiful places. And my group actually even went hot air ballooning. The school organized it. They paid extra for that, of course. But there are loads of things you can do, different kinds of activities, cultural and natural as well. You can go hiking if you like. And it's a wonderful place to be. I agree with Steffi. It's a great place. So that's two of us who have the experience. And even though when I was there, we were still at the end of the pandemic, so we had to be distanced and all that, it was still a great experience. And the participants loved it. So, well, that's my experience. I really enjoyed it, and I'm
excellent. Yeah, just to add at this point, is, the actual Pilgrims program will be what it's always been, which is, of course, the main course that you would be in for from 9 o'clock till 3:30. Then there'd be afternoon options, and then evening options as well. But I think one of the great pluses is, as you've just said, Linda and Steffi had said, that there's so much you can do culturally within actually Segovia. A further add-on to what we're offering.
Yeah, we actually went to a concert in the Alcázar one of the historic buildings in the patio, in the courtyard, distanced and all that. It was the first concert we'd all been to since before the pandemic. But it was in the open air. So there are lots of things that people can do, as well as the Pilgrims program. And it's all, you can walk there. It's brilliant. It's actually really fantastic.
And just a little plus, the food is delicious. And, the food is delicious, and I'd say it's less expensive than, you know, for example, my experience in Ireland, there was rather expensive if compared to Spain, and also the cost of living in Segovia was slightly cheaper than what it was in Canterbury and in Ireland.
And actually, Steffi, you remember the prices in the UK from before Brexit and before we left Canterbury. The prices have gone up a lot since then. So it's even more striking, the contrast. Mm-hmm.
True, Hania, yes.
Wine is much cheaper in Spain, of course. Wine, half the price in Spain compared to the UK, not just the food.
And then the center manager is really keen on organizing visits to the town hall, where the mayor welcomes the group. There are city tours in beautiful English. One can even add on an extra day coming on, you know, returning to one's country in Madrid, because trains are, I mean, the traveling is very easy in Segovia. So you can go to Madrid for the weekend or the Saturday. It is really a place in Spain to take into consideration, and we are very lucky to have this opportunity to train and for our participants to see this part of Spain. It's really breathtakingly beautiful. But not only the scenery, it's the whole atmosphere. Don't you agree, Linda?
Yes, absolutely. The manager of the school, Raquel, is, so I remember, incredibly helpful, and her team. And yeah, and the atmosphere is, well, lovely. It's like being on holiday. You go out for some tapas and with a view of the aqueduct, and yeah, it's really recommended. And if you want to visit other places around, it's Segovia, as Bill and Steffi have mentioned, is extremely well communicated because it has a high-speed train to Madrid, and from there you can stay in Madrid or go to Toledo or other places on another high-speed train, half an hour, and you're there. So, and the climate is friendly. It cools down at night a bit because it's quite high up, and that's great. That means that even in hot summers, it's hot in Spain, it's cooler at night. So that's a good thing. So in my opinion, it's a really great place.
You sold it, Linda. Yeah.
Well, if you haven't been, I'd only been when I on day trips, because I lived in Spain for a few years, a long time ago, and we used to go for the day. And this course, I spent a whole week there. I felt so privileged. because the atmosphere at night in the old town, the school is actually in the middle of the old town. And I was staying in the old town. It's very small, quite small. And it was really amazing, really wonderful. So yeah, I felt really privileged to enjoy this wonderful atmosphere. So yeah, if I'm selling it, yeah.
Shall we now go back to, shall we now go back to what the courses are and leave Segovia for a while on the side, you know, the attractions and the beauty and the pleasure of being there, and perhaps let's say a few more words about the courses with the next slide, right? So we are all passionate about teachers, and we managed to attract teachers who are passionate about teaching. So it's a very passionate experience, I would say. And it helps us not only to be passionate, but to develop a network of people sharing within the community. We know that the contacts remain active. The course participants stay in touch. Also, Phil and myself, we are in charge of the journals sponsored by Pilgrims, and we know that course participants continue then to stay in touch through publications and through networking and sharing ideas. Phil, would you like to say a few words about the teacher trainer?
Yeah. So the teacher trainer journal, I mean, has actually been going for 40 years, or just under 40 years actually. It was originally edited by Tessa Woodward, who you may know of, and I've taken on the journal in the last couple of years. It used to be a print journal, and then print and digital. Now it's digital only, and it's free it's free for everyone. The main focus really is to give teacher trainers and teacher educators a voice. And if you go into that link, you can see both the current issue and the archive that we have going back to actually 2016, even though there was a longer archive than that. Sorry, I think you can see it going back to 2006 actually. And of course, teacher trainers and teacher educators are largely teachers too, so it's for teachers as well. But take a look and you can see the richness of our content, and we see this very much as a complement to the HLT, which I know Hania will now talk about.
So humanizing language teaching was started by Mario Rinvolucri, the founding father of one of the founding fathers of Pilgrims. The magazine goes back to 1999, and you can access the archive, full archive, going back to 1999. Everything is available for free, and it is a fantastic resource, wonderful way for continuous professional development. And this year we're celebrating 25 years of the magazine. So the February issue announced that April will be celebrating, the April issue will be celebrating 25 years of humanizing language teaching. The June issue will be celebrating the Pilgrims trainers. So please keep in touch, and if you have an idea for an article, do contact me.
And Hania, how can the teachers subscribe to the HLT? Just by clicking?
There is no subscription. Thank you for asking that. There's no subscription. You just go online and you can see the magazine, you can see the current issues, the previous issues, and they come in batches. One is the batch from August 2018, and then there is another batch of all the earlier issues. And the only thing you may want to do is subscribe to the mailing list. So every time a new issue of the magazine is out, you get an email from me that the issue has been put up on the website, and you can enjoy. And also it kind of highlights what you can expect from the issue.
Thank you, Hania, because it's important coming from you, because I've been asked about this but I'm glad that it's
And
been
the subscription, when you go on the website, in the left-hand margin, there is a purple icon saying subscribe to our free mailing list. And this is where you have to click and subscribe.
Thank you.
The first time, the email from me may end up in spam. So please, like with many other sites and many purchases, you need to check the spam as well as the main mailbox. So the first time you have to try to unspam my messages, and then you will get them regularly.
Thank you.
Okay, Matilda, if you can move on. I think we're now really that's our bit, our part, and really it's really I know we've had questions already, but if you have any questions or comments you'd like to make, we have some time, to if there's anything that's not clear or that we can explain further. So over to you.
Alessandro.
Sorry. I was wondering if it's possible to get Erasmus Plus funding just for individual teachers. So I'm an English teacher in Italy, and I didn't know that it was possible to join your courses thanks to Erasmus funding. And I was wondering if you had any experience with that, other maybe Italian teachers that asked for that.
Yes, Alessandro. Where are you based?
In Cremona.
In Cremona. Okay. Isn't there an Erasmus Plus school in your area? Or in your school? Do you teach in medie, superiori?
Superiori, upper secondary school.
Okay, upper secondary school. If you send me the name of the school, I can find out for you.
Okay.
I know definitely that there are Erasmus funded courses for one teacher, because does that mean that you would like to come during the summer or just alone 1 week or whenever?
So my idea was that I would like to come during the summer for maybe a course or two. I'm not sure if I can this year because, as you know, there are the national exams going on right now, and I need to take mine too. And we don't know the calendar yet, but I'd love to do it at some point. So if not this year, then the following. But if I could have the Erasmus funding, it would be great.
Absolutely, Alessandro. I can look in. I can look that in for you. But I need to. I need to know the name of the school. I know Cremona. Also, because for this year, it's a bit late to apply for Erasmus, and still you have the state exam, and dates have not been set yet. So definitely for next year, we are waiting for you.
Thank you. Thank you. So should maybe I don't know, should I send you an email or?
Yes, you can send an email to Pilgrims, and then they will forward it on to me, and I will find out, because I'm based in Pordenone, at Liceo Leopardi Majorana, and at University of Udine.
Okay, well, the school where I'm working this year is called Torriani, but I'm not a stable teacher there, so they might change the school. I might change school.
Yes, because you're not on the permanent staff yet,
exactly,
because of the state exams, which hopefully will be quite soon.
So I passed my written exam, and now I have the oral exam. I think this summer, I'm not sure, but for now I'm not a permanent teacher in just one school yet.
Okay.
But you know, still, I would love to do a Pilgrims course. My English teacher did it, you know, many years ago, and she was wonderful, and she passed her passion to teaching on to me, and this is why I decided to become an English teacher too. So, you know, and she has also told me about, you know, these courses. So this is why I would love to come at a certain point.
Thank you very much for that positive feedback.
Absolutely. One thing
yes.
we haven't actually mentioned in terms of our offer this summer, and of course, if you go onto the website, you'll see it, is that it spans from the very end of June until the first week in August. I mean, various different courses at different times. So there, you know, we're as well as the actual number of courses, it's trying to be as flexible as possible through the whole summer, because different countries have different times when schools end and when they can attend courses.
Yeah.
Okay, that's really convenient too.
Alessandro Pinto. Okay. I actually thought you were Portuguese because your surname Pinto.
Maybe that's the origin. I don't know.
I don't know. Okay. We'll keep in touch. Because every school has got its own, normally has got one person responsible for helping the applicant to fill in all the papers. So it's also a good idea that once you know where you will be a permanent teacher, because I'm sure you'll pass your exam, that you find out, yes, we'll cross our fingers, we'll be able to find out if who is the person responsible for the Erasmus, and if it is an Erasmus Plus school.
Okay, just asking, I think maybe this is just a question about the Italian school system. Now that I'm not a permanent teacher, does this mean I'm not able to apply for Erasmus
Absolutely
funding?
not. No,
Okay.
no,
You
no.
can.
You can.
We've had lots of trainees who didn't have permanent positions. I'm still in touch with some of them. Sorry to barge in, but yeah, some of my former course participants, you know, messaged me to say now they have a permanent position and where they're based. No problem. You can even ask at the school where you're teaching now, even if you're not permanent, if they have, they may still have funding for this year. Even you need to ask.
Funding for this year, Linda, in Italy ended on the 2nd of March.
Oh, right. Because in most places it's up
2nd
to
of March,
April.
yes, the 2nd of March was the deadline for applying for Erasmus in Italy.
Okay.
Yeah, but my understanding, and I might be wrong, but my understanding, what I've heard is that yes, the actual timeline for applying for Erasmus for the funding has passed, but
That's
then
right.
then schools, if once they've applied for the funding, can then apply for particular courses.
Yes, that's true, Phil.
Yeah.
Because if the school gets the funding, then they can assign people to different courses. Yeah, that's true.
But I think for pilgrims, you can make provisional bookings and then let pilgrims know if you have got the funding. So you can always.
Okay, maybe I will ask the school staff about this just to get some information about it, so then I'm ready for next year if I can't come this year.
Okay, that will be lovely to see you.
Thank you, and I'll leave you my email in the chat, Stefania, so that if you find something out, you can tell me.
Absolutely, thank you for that. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alessandro.
So if you give me your email, Alessandro Pinto.
Okay. Else have a comment?
Alessandro Pinto, Prof. Can you put that up again? Just a moment, please. Alessandro.Pinto, Prof. at.
It's only in the chat.
alessandro.pinto.prof@gmail.com.
Okay, got it.
Thank you.
Not at all. Alessandro.Pinto.prof@gmail.com.
You got it.
You got it.
Great.
Any more questions? Alessandro, at the moment, what classes are you teaching and what liceo is it? Science, grammar, or human science?
So this school is quite big, actually. It's got many specialized sectors to it. And I'm teaching to students who study computer science program. That's what they do. And some of them also are specializing in mechanics and electronics. I couldn't choose it, but I'm quite happy, honestly, because, you know, I've been establishing a good relationship with most of the students. And, you know, I'm really happy about that. And, you know, my ideas about teaching, I think they are also very in line with humanism, and what you suggested at the beginning of the presentation. Also, you know, this year for this national exam in Italy, we have all been studying a lot of pedagogy, psychology. And so, you know, I came across humanism before, and then I remembered that it was one of the principles at the base of Pilgrims too. So
Yes.
I'd love to explore that more, given that I passed that exam first, which is quite stressful to take. So
I know. I have colleagues who are complaining about Bruner and
exactly.
and Vygotsky and Piaget, and I added Donaldson, and they were complaining, and I said, oh, so you mean that what I've been teaching at university for the past 20 years is a waste of time? Oh, no, but it's a lot to study. So well done that you passed all this.
Thank you. Well, I think that the exam itself is pretty useless to establish if you are a good teacher or not, but the concepts are really important. You know, those pedagogy concepts, they are really important. And now, you know, that I know them a bit better, I feel already more confident. But you know, in my heart, I still have the memory of my English teacher and the activities, the creative activities that we would do. I couldn't even say, because, you know, when I was a student, I didn't know all the methodologies and so on. But I would say, you know, cooperative activities, speaking, creative activities. She taught me how to make mind maps. You know, those things are still with me, and I would love to become that teacher. While, you know, most of the time I try to do my best, but in Italy there is no teacher training. Unfortunately, you just start like that. And so, you know, I'd love to, you know, also to do a training that is just for me and not for an exam, but, you know, something I believe in, that I can apply, you know.
Is it a problem if I ask you the name of this wonderful teacher?
Yeah, so she's called Arcangela Laudato, Angela.
Arcangela Lovato?
Laudato, yeah.
Laudato. Okay.
Now she retired, so I don't know how many years she took this course.
That's wonderful. I'm sure that she has made a difference in your life as a teacher, and this is Pilgrim's goal,
You are attracting passionate teachers.
Yep.
That's the reality of it.
Yeah. We know, and that's why we want to have this summer and many summers in the future as well. You know.
I have a colleague at the University of Udine who does linguistics, and she said to me, "Oh, Mario Rimbalukri and all of you Pilgrims trainers, I still use," she said, "a lot of your work that you've done." And I think this was one of the biggest compliments, really, that I've had over the years, to know that she's a full-time professor there as well, and she has wonderful memories and uses, I can see, and we share a lot of the Pilgrim's way and the Pilgrim's approach.
That's really, really beautiful. Also, I wanted to say something that just come to my mind. So I remember that in last year's maybe flyers on the Pilgrims website, there were some books that you were suggesting to read for each course. And now I think they're not there anymore, probably because you changed, you know, the format of the flyer. And I was wondering if you had maybe a bibliography to suggest, because, you know, I don't know if I can come this year or next year, but I would love to have maybe a couple of books to, you know, to integrate creativity in my teaching that I can also read and check to prepare my presentation for the oral exam. For those of you that don't know, in Italy, to have a permanent contract as a teacher, you need to pass this exam that changes all the time. Every time it happens, it's different. And for the oral exam, you need to prepare a sort of display lesson with you know, a group of different lessons, an assessment rubric, aims, and so on, and present that with some methodologies.
Yes.
And usually what happens is that these presentations tend to be all the same, meaning that if there is a specific methodology that is very on trend at a certain moment, everyone uses it, which is okay, by the way. But I was wondering, you know, if there is a bibliography that you suggest, if you have it.
Alessandro, there is a bibliography. When you look at the Pilgrims teacher training brochure, right, on the website, there is something called a sample program. And then at the bottom, for example, for the 21st century skills and the 4 Cs, there is pages and pages. There's 2 columns of bibliography. So there is, you must look very carefully, but it's available. Can I screen share, Matilde?
Maybe you're right.
Screen share. Can you let me screen share?
Can I say something?
Yeah, hello, Gillian.
Okay, have a look, Alessandro. Can you see this is for the 21st century skills? When you click on the course, yes.
Okay.
You have got the sample day, and then you have got 2 columns of bibliography.
Okay, I think I missed it. I'm sorry. Maybe I checked.
That's okay. It's okay.
Sometime ago. I'm so sorry.
I just want to know how to contact you all. Who I can contact in Pilgrims, because I used to go to Canterbury and I used to have theatre with Peter Dyer and Chaz Pugliese, know him well. I want to know who I can contact now to find out what I can do with Pilgrims.
Matilde, can you send your email?
Yeah.
You
can you type your email in the chat box?
Absolutely.
I put it in the chat box now. Can I put it in the chat box now?
Yes, I will contact you.
Thank you very much, Matilde.
No worries.
And Gillian, if you want to contact me for example, publishing an HLT,
yes.
At the bottom of every editorial, there is my email address. And also on the site, in the upper right-hand corner, there is contact us, and there's my email.
Yeah, okay, Hannah, I'm not quite sure. I'm a bit tired tonight. No, okay, I'll put this in. I'll put my email in the chat box now.
And if anyone needs to contact Pilgrims, I will You can contact us any way you want from
Yeah.
the homepage of pilgrims.co.uk. We have
Okay.
WhatsApp, we have emails, social media, anything that you prefer, and I will direct you to the person you need if you're
Thank
not
you very
sure.
much. So I put my email in there.
And
I put my email in there, Matilda.
Fantastic. Thank
And
you.
Julian, if you look, Julian, at HLT, you will see contact us. You can see in the upper right hand corner, and then you can see in every editorial my email address is given. And by the way, this is where you subscribe to the mailing list.
Okay, I'd like that. I've got to go on the site though, haven't I?
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
Sorry again, I just checked that the course I was most interested in is the creative teacher motivated learners, and I think that one hasn't got a bibliography, but it used to have it before.
Okay, but if you see HLT magazine, there are always books suggested, you know, to read.
Okay, thank you.
But contact me, Alessandro, and I can point you towards publications online which you may want to look up, because there will be sample pages from Chaz's book on creativity, and the bibliography for this book is a treasure trove. Actually, Chaz's book on creativity is, if you're interested in creativity, is a good. But you see, I added a section, a column in HLT called Short Book Reviews. So I received the most recent publications and I review them. So you may want to pick my brain and I may point you towards direction if you need, okay?
Okay, thank you.
And you remember where to find my email address. Contact us in the upper right-hand corner of the HLT site, okay?
Okay, thank you.
And if
Thank
you have
Magda.
problems, Stefania will give you my email.
Yes, and then also there was a message from Magda Zamoraska, and she also said that you can email her and she'll send you a list of books.
Thank you. I'll send both of you an email. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Alessandra.
Okay, thank you for joining. I think
yes,
our time is more or less up. Unless, did you want to say something, Hania?
No, I just wanted to applaud everybody who has come and having this wonderful. Thank you for having this wonderful chat. I know that the fragments of it will be available online. Mathilde will be looking after that, and all we said here will not stay just in our small circle, but will be shared with other people. So this is great, and thank you so much for spending an hour with us chatting.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Really, thank you. From the bottom of my heart.
Thank you.
Bye-bye then.
Bye-bye.
And all the best. Thank you.
Bye-bye.